So do you foresee one country after the other starting to adopt this Bitcoin standard, or is it going to be a much longer fight?
I think it's going to happen very, very quickly because we're already seeing Bitcoin getting close to all-time highs. So once we cross the $100,000, $200,000 per coin mark, or 0.1 to 0.2 million per coin, I believe you're going to see nation-state FOMO and countries buying it to replace gold reserves, maybe selling gold to buy Bitcoin. So we often talk about Bitcoin overtaking gold in terms of market cap. The thing is, when Bitcoin starts to get close to the market cap of gold, it will demonetize gold. So it's not that we're hitting a stationary target. That target is going to be dropping as we keep increasing. So it's a very simple thing for Bitcoin to overtake gold.
You might want to prepare yourselves because the bull run is just getting started. And Edward Snowden's 2024 Bitcoin prediction, it looks like it's coming to fruition. As you saw the news yesterday, it has been reported that sovereign wealth funds and pensions are coming to Bitcoin. Holy crap, and did the IMF just bend the knee? Ladies and gentlemen, hyper-Bitcoinization will change everything. It's happening. This is absolutely massive. Buckle up and strap in because like Samson Mao said, nation-state Bitcoin FOMO has arrived.
Party, that party. Come and have a good time with G.O.D.
The gravity of the news is just insane because not only BlackRock, we got Fidelity that has said that pension funds are starting to explore investing in Bitcoin, and pension funds in the US alone have more than $10 trillion in assets under management. That is a big freaking deal, but we got to think, what is going on? Why are these people doing this? Why are nation states, sovereign wealth funds, pensions, the biggest, most powerful funds in the world with BlackRock and others, why are they aping into Bitcoin? Well, game theory is telling us, and BlackRock knows this, eventually a country is just going to print money and ape into Bitcoin. Why do you think they're having these meetings? They're orange pilling governments, corporations, businesses. And the sales pitch, I mean, how do you turn it away? If you're the first country to print money to buy Bitcoin, you're going to be really fucking rich. And if you're last, well, no one's going to trade you their Bitcoin for your paper cuck bucks. Guys, we have de-dollarization happening at a record pace, and it looks like M2 money supply. The king is waking up, ladies and gentlemen. What does that usually mean for Bitcoin? Well, you tell me. These clowns printing the money, their hubris is astounding. Remember, the pride cometh before the fall. And this clip is awesome. The US government can't go bankrupt because we print our own currency. Why does the government borrow in the currency it prints out of thin air? Even the chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors can't explain it, and this is why the world is about to just ape into Bitcoin.
The US government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money.
Why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds. Right, since they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah, so a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to, yeah, I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, because it's like the government clearly prints money. It does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So I don't think there's anything confusing there.
Well, that's awesome for Bitcoin. Rustin, what about my shitcoin? Is it going to be bullish for them? Well, Sailor's got some news for you on your shitcoins.
There's no second best crypto. Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Now, why is it the best crypto asset? Because it's increasingly clear that no other crypto token is going to achieve institutional acceptance this decade. Bitcoin is the only crypto that's going to cross the chasm. You could see the writing on the wall when the spot ETF of Bitcoin was approved in January. By the end of May, you'll know that Ethereum is not going to be approved. And when Ethereum is not going to be approved, sometime this summer, it'll be very clear to everyone that Ethereum is deemed a crypto asset security, not a commodity. After that, you're going to see that Ethereum, BNB, Solana, Ripple, Cardano, everything down the stack is just a crypto asset security unregistered. None of them will ever be wrapped by a spot ETF. None of them will be accepted by Wall Street. None of them will be accepted by mainstream institutional investors as crypto assets. This is the one universal consensus accepted institutional grade crypto asset in the world. Between the year 2024 and the year 2030, the die is cast, the writing is on the wall. This is the winner. There is no second best.
All your shit coins and Fiat's a shit coin, they're going to zero against Bitcoin. And during this last little shakeout, little blue-haired, paper-handed pansies selling their coin to Larry Fink, don't be fooled because the next Bitcoin bull run hasn't even started yet. Take a look at this chart. This is just the beginning, the early innings, only 12 days after the halving. And again, while people are selling massive whales, including the infamous Mr. 100, they just scooped up a massive 3,300 Bitcoin yesterday. That kind of shows signs that maybe the bottom is in. And we got this news out of Van Eck. Already 175 billion worth of Bitcoin is held by nation states, companies, and ETFs. And that number is only about to go up, and it's probably going to go up in a rapid fashion. If you want things to get more bullisher, it does look like the IMF has bent the knee, as they just published a paper sharing the potential of Bitcoin for cross-border payments. It's titled A Primer on Bitcoin Cross-Border Flows. It's almost like everyone's realizing that at some point they have more to lose in fearing or fighting Bitcoin than in just embracing the technology.
When we bought Bitcoin, we bought 250 million. No public company had ever bought any. People thought we were crazy. So then we bought another 175 million. People thought we were crazy. Then we bought 600 million more. People said, you can't stand on it. It'll destroy you. It's like standing on a bridge made of steel. And I concluded, it's the perfect engineered material to solve our problem, but people are living in fear. And how are we going to get them to not be fearful? I was reminded of Andrew Carnegie's example. It's like build the bridge, go stand out in the middle of the bridge. You build an airplane, fly the airplane. Show people that it's not going to break. That's what MicroStrategy did. We said, well, if it's good for 100 million, it's good for $1 billion. If it's good for $1 billion, we might as well go for 4 billion, right? And at some point, people will realize that they have more to fear by not embracing this technology than by embracing it.
Bitcoin is gunpowder because it is the hardest money ever created or discovered, and people are either going to adopt it or be forced to adopt it. The fiat clowns have plundered the people for far too long, and Bitcoin is here to restore hope.
Do you still believe that Ethereum is a scam, and in general, proof of stake? You're either clueless if you think it's interesting.
Yeah, no, I still stand by that. I think the
Would you classify Ethereum as a shitcoin? In your
for sure, it's the mother asshole from which the shitcoins spring.
the king shitcoin? Right.
Yeah, I think the key thing is, the way to think about it, there's another tweet from a couple of years ago, which is essentially proof of work was like the invention of flight. Like we've got in this machine and we managed to get it to fly off the ground. And proof of stake is, hey, we found a great way to make airplanes cheaper and faster by not making them fly. By keeping them on the ground. The invention of proof of work, the reason the entire digital currency space exists is because Bitcoin operates based on proof of work. If Bitcoin was based on proof of stake, it would have died or been shut down from day one.
But that's a hypothesis, and a lot of people believe that, and I think they have a lot of strong support. But basically, proof of work is grounded in physics in the real world, and proof of stake is more about...
It's politics. It's the Federal Reserve. It's exactly what we have. It's exactly what we have. It's just a group of people who get to decide the rules, and it's essentially a system that is, it's a security. It's a company. So it's not an innovation in any sense. It's a step backward to what we already had, which is you get a bunch of people in charge of the money. Now, the only reason it survives in this, and the reason I call these things a scam, and I have no problem with calling them a scam, is because they fraudulently present themselves as being decentralized. They present themselves as just being a different way of doing decentralization than Bitcoin, when it's not. It's just they're riding Bitcoin's coattails, and they're riding the fact that most people don't quite understand what Bitcoin is and how it works to portray themselves as a cheaper, better, more efficient way of doing what Bitcoin does. It's not. It's a less legally accountable way of doing what central banks do.
Epic clip from Saifedean, but before we get to some more big news, let's take a minute to recognize our sponsors, the Bitcoin Way. Now, Simply Bitcoin Originals are powered by the Bitcoin Way. They are your IT team in the Bitcoin world. Understanding the why of Bitcoin sometimes isn't challenging, especially in clown world, but the how can be. And at the Bitcoin Way, they are here to help bridge that gap, marrying the why to the how. They can help you with all things Bitcoin, from setting up your first wallet and node all the way up to inheritance planning, accepting Bitcoin payments for your business, and all aspects of Bitcoin security and privacy. They even work with their clients on configuring routers, devices, and networks, and just improving their overall digital hygiene. Also, growing interest in UTXO management. The Bitcoin way has got you covered. Ladies and gentlemen, we're already near the when Bitcoin is in such high demand that it's not available on exchanges. We have nation-state FOMO right here on the verge, pensions, and major companies and corporations adopting the Michael Saylor model, as we have Jack Dorsey and Square now DCAing into Bitcoin every month, and this will be the norm for every major company, every S&P 500 company, and then eventually everyone. But there ain't much Bitcoin left, and some people will be forced to get Bitcoin at the price they deserve. Hey, like we said before, you better buckle up and strap in, because the greatest bull run in Bitcoin's history is just getting started. Faces will be melted. If you happen to cancel your plans and you're celebrating the bull market this weekend, try not to go too hard at the Pi Kappa Phi Rager. That is hilarious. Be sure to like, subscribe, share that sound money gospel. Give us a bump. Don't forget to tune in to the #1 live Bitcoin only news show on YouTube, Simply Bitcoin Live, Monday through Friday at 12 Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to follow us on Twitter for all the latest breaking Bitcoin news. Set those notifications, keep tuning in, and we will be your guide through the separation of money and state. I'll catch you all next week. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, fuck you.